Next, we'll move on to community comment. The board recognizes the value of public comment on educational issues and the importance of involving members of the public in its meetings. And in order to permit fair and orderly expression of such comment, the board will provide a period for public comment. And it looks like we do not have any public comment on agenda items. It looks like we have 3 people to comment on non-agenda items. I'd like to call Stephanie Grip up first, please.
Good evening. My name is Stephanie Grip. I'm here to discuss mandatory masks in... Oh, am I... I'm very, very quiet. Oh, hold it up to me? Okay.
When you're facing the board, people in the back can't hear you.
Okay. Okay, my name is Stephanie Grip. I'm here to talk about mandatory masks for fall of 21-22. Thank you for inviting me to speak this evening. The topic I wish to address is mandatory mask wearing for the 21-22 school year. I'm a mom of 3. I had a senior, an 8th grader, and 5th grader this school year. This year was challenging, to say the least. My kids were all excited to go back to school after a year at home, to see their friends and to be normal again. But it wasn't normal at all. My kids said to me it felt like prison. They were told they had to stay 6 feet away from their friends, to eat lunch in their laps without talking because their masks were off, to watch videos daily on how to properly wear your mask and why we wear a mask, to not kill grandma and grandpa. Teachers getting after the children if masks slipped off their faces or if they pulled their mask down to catch their breath. I am so distressed that I'm even having to write this to argue for my children to be able to have the basic right of free breathing. According to the Department of Health website, there has been 0 deaths from any child under the age of 19 in Washington state. According to the CDC, the fatality rate for anyone under 19 is so low it's calculated at 0.0%, meaning doesn't exist. There are no guidelines or safety studies done on cloth masks. In fact, many have concluded that they are harmful by collecting microorganisms, especially while exercising, which is required by Washington State RCW 28A.300.04, Section 15. Headaches, dizziness, shortness of breath, and dry mouth are common with mask wearing. Staying home out of fear is an option. It should be an option to have unmasked children attend public school. Taking temperatures, practicing good hygiene, and staying home if sick are sufficient. Please do not let fear rule over facts. Smothering our children because of politics under the guise of health is simply irresponsible. Allow parents to make decisions for their own children and make masks optional. This is not about freedom or protection. Masks are hindering cognitive and social development skills in our children. Thank you.
Thank you, Stephanie. Next up, we have Tiana Kleinhoff. I apologize if I've pronounced your name improperly. Is it Tiana? Thank you.
Sorry, not used to speaking with the mask on. My name is Tiana Kleinhoff, and I'm a mother of 4 children in North Thurston School Districts. And I wanted to talk about the equity resolution and implore you to see the other side and stay in your lane. On page 1 of this document, it says, BIPOC educators prepare all students to live in a multicultural society by breaking down negative stereotypes and help all students understand and confront racism. The other side of what you're saying there is that your white educators can't do that, and that's quite an assumption. Inside of that, it says that being BIPOC means that you understand and confront racism. Also not true. As a minority, I know for a fact that's not true. On page 2, it speaks to, economic injustice in education, solidarity with a group of people who have been subject to a history of systemic racism. That definitely sounds like an opinion to me, not fact. On page 3, it speaks to dominance of white perspectives. That's a very big opinion. This document says that you're going to be retaining and hiring BIPOC staff, and it leads us to believe it's because you believe that they do things that your white educators can't. That's almost exactly what this document says, and I think that's very unfair to your existing members and a huge assumption about race. Any decision based upon skin color, regardless of its purpose, is racism. To say that you're going to hire people who are BIPOC simply because they're BIPOC is racism. You have 16 references in this document. Not one is from North Thurston School District members. Not one. It appears to me that you're trying to fix a problem that doesn't exist here. Like I said, I've raised 4 children in this school district. They've gone to Woodland, Lacey, Chinook, Aspire, and they're all now in North Thurston High School. They've participated in choir, band, soccer, basketball, volleyball, track, cross country, and I have volunteered at every single one of those schools. And not once have I ever felt racism in this school district. I volunteer in those schools. I participate in my children's activities. I hang out with those other parents. My children have friends who are all different nationalities, races, religions. I interact with all of those parents on a regular basis in school district functions and outside. And I've never seen a problem in this school district. So I think you should stay in your lane, which is education. You ask parents to participate and partner with you in this, but you give us broken tools. But this is what we're focusing on. The tools are broken. Skyward and Canvas don't speak to each other. We have assignments that show up in different systems as missing. We have assignments that show up as missing because the teacher hasn't taken the time to grade them for weeks on end. We receive absence notices that are erroneous, that we eventually start to ignore just to find out that some of them aren't erroneous. So we're not able to partner and make sure our children are where they're supposed to be. We've had teachers, I had a teacher tell one of my daughters that it's not his job to help her figure out what assignments are missing versus which ones he hasn't graded yet. I have a senior whose curriculum was a complete joke and pointless. I have one teacher who shows up for 5 minutes of online class and then turns it off. These are things that are in your lane. This equity resolution, this race junk, is not. Being a minority does not mean that I can't be a racist. Being a minority does not mean that I can teach someone about equity. And it doesn't mean that a white teacher can't either. I don't agree with this equity resolution, and I don't think it's in your lane. I think you should focus on the things that are in your lane. I think my time is probably up. I practiced that a couple times.
Thank you, Tiana.
Thank you.
Next, we have Angela Danielson.
Hi, my name is Angela Danielson, and I have 2 children at Timberline. One just graduated, so 2 still there. And I have 3 children that I'm currently homeschooling, but they were going to Woodland, and I have my son does band at Nisqually. So I'm concerned about the critical race theory, like this lady was saying. I feel like there's got to be a better way, and I love people of all races, and I feel like the critical race theory that's coming down the line for all school districts, it seems like it pits races against each other actually, and doesn't bring unity and love. And so I've actually written a letter to the 3 schools that affect my children, Timberline, Woodland, and Nisqually, to propose something that I feel passionate about, and I feel would really help the children in our school district to feel more love and unity and understanding of each other. I'm an avid genealogist. I do family history a lot, and I love learning about my family and where they came from and the different countries that my ancestors were from. And my proposal to the schools is that I would create or find a curriculum that would teach them about how to love all different races. And I would come in and talk to the classes along with people from the Olympia Genealogical Society about their ancestors and each person and how those people connect with the children. Their ancestors are part of who they are internally, and they can learn so much from what their ancestors went through, no matter what country they come from. I would bring in people from different cultural backgrounds to talk to the students, do presentations, dances, stories at the different levels, elementary, middle school, and high school. And I think that working together on this and having the kids learning from each other about their different cultural backgrounds would help bring the unity that we're seeking for in our school district. Thank you.
Thank you, Angela. Next, we'll move forward to the superintendent report. And first up, we have, I'm sorry.
We did receive one public comment via email that Jenny will read into the record.
Thank you.
And I think, Carmen, that's our last public comment. Is that correct? Thank you.
This comment is from Anna Robertson. Good morning. I am writing regarding the recent information that was put out in the newsletter from the county health officer, indicating students will continue to have to wear masks for the next school year, 21-22. Considering there is such a strong push from the school district to disseminate vaccine information via email and text regularly, I am trying to understand the reason a decision on masks for the next school year has already been made. Students in the middle and high schools meet the age eligibility requirements for the vaccine, and many are already fully vaccinated. Why is there no language in the recommendation advising those that are fully vaccinated not be required to mask, as per the CDC guidelines? Even the guidelines set for those attending this board meeting, requiring staff and students to mask, but not the general public. If they are fully vaccinated or outside the CDC guidelines, at some point we have to return to life without masks. Vaccinated students and staff who are fully vaccinated should not be required to continue to mask at school. Thank you, Ann Robertson.
Thank you, Jenny.